Welcome back to the channel. All right, the Glorious Guardians prediction video is here. And I gotta say, I think I'm pretty good at being able to predict what Kabam is going to do, except for sales. I've been pretty bad at that. And I feel confident. I can say with a good degree of confidence, I can accurately predict who the other 4 champions are gonna be. I'm gonna tell you why, I'm gonna tell you how, and I'm gonna tell you who they are going to be. Let's jump into it. Now, it feels pretty clear to me that we're going to get champions from every single class, right? Crashed was on. We did an interview before VBC 5, Vega Battlegrounds Championship 5, and he told us so many things. There were so many leaks, but I think he was teasing things. There was so much coming. We still don't even know. They've told us there's going to be 10 reveals. We only know 3. I'm pumped up about it for the rest of the year. But one of the things they said, it's going to be 6 champions. Crash told us that there was going to be Reworks. Well, this has to be them, right? Unless there's more. And I just can't believe it because it takes a lot of time, effort, and energy to create whole new champions. Now, we're going to connect some dots. I've been usually pretty good at this, and I've circled the dots that we're going to connect. This was one of the main images to kick off this whole like glorious games event that they're calling it. Very thematic, right? We got this table here with Maestro. And then we have Count Nefaria. I can't think of the other character's name, and I apologize. I know so many of you love her. She's got a lot of arms. And Spot. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. A brand new champion. They're highlighting a infamous character throughout the game in Maestro. The multi-arm champion. I know some of you are wincing every time I do that. She looks cool as heck. She's obviously coming to the game. That's already a tease, right? Because they haven't officially announced her, but she's been in the artwork. And Spot's a very good champion. I can't imagine they're buffing Spot. Maybe they want to give him some block proficiency or something like that, help him out in Battlegrounds a little bit to go with that immense damage he can accumulate or put out. We got the little robots from Mr. Fantastic, who's not available as a 7-star, but these are reworks. Mr. Fantastic does not need to be reworked. He's already gotten that once, and he was good before, and he became amazing afterwards. So I feel like the whole right side of the screen is kind of a bit of a distraction, like what magicians do when they're trying to do the sleight of hand. They make you look somewhere else with their body, their face, whatever, these various ways, so that you're not looking at what's actually going on. And I think that's what's happened here. And trust me, I have Exhibit B. On the left-hand side of the screen, we have Mr. Sinister, who got one of the best reworks of the year. I said I'd forget someone, and I knew I hadn't. There it is. I have forgotten just how great the reworks have been this year. One of my favorites is Mr. Sinister. I've done the video on the rank 3 7-star SIG 131 now. Mr. Sinister. So he's already there, and I feel like they're giving us a clue. Because the other 2 champions make absolutely no sense to be on this page. Deadpool X-Force and Sentinel. They're both barely on my tier list. If you're unfamiliar with my tier list, 1, you should become familiar with them. And 2, we don't rank the bad champions. The lowest ranked champions are the ones that are like, look, if you really want to, go for it. And you're going to see that they're both in the lowest tier. They don't make sense here. Now, let me show you Exhibit B that I think is going to put you on the edge of certainty that we know who the tech and the mutant buff champions are going to be. Now, I know not a lot of you saw this, and you're probably like, dude, did you make that yourself? Like, there's no way. That makes it so absolutely obvious. Or did this come out in like 2018? No. You can't see the type at the bottom there, but it clearly says 2024 in Marvel. It's got the Marvel Contest of Champions. It's even got the Kabam logo, and they being Kabam, put this on their Twitter feed within the last like 30 days. Now, if you've paid attention to Kabam's Marvel Contest of Champions Twitter feed, you know they've been known to leak things themselves many times. Not at first. I could name a lot of them, but let's not kick a dead horse. And this horse is very, very dead. I feel very confident that either 1, they intentionally leak this stuff, which is fun, and I enjoy that they're intentionally doing it, having a good time with us, letting people like me make prediction videos and make it sound like we are absolutely certain, although I am certain in this one, and I feel very, very sure I am right. And if I'm wrong, who cares? It's YouTube. No one will remember this. But second of all is why are Sentinel and Deadpool X-Force in their own standalone image together that's been created by Marvel Contest of Champions Kabam, and also on the left-hand side of one of the major pieces of artwork to announce the 10-year anniversary of the whole game. If it's not because they are a rework, this is one of the most unusual placements of two champions that are otherwise not noteworthy at all in this game that I have ever seen. And kudos to you, Kabam, because I've had a lot of fun making this video. Now let's go ahead and look at the tier list so we can see who else it might be in the tech and the mutant, although it's not, and who it's going to be in science and skill. All right, the first thing I want to point out is that makes me laugh that they did that. That Purgatory has already been upgraded. I've done the whole video on her buff. I hope you've seen it. It's a great video. She's a great champion. I really do want her as a 7-star. But she was in this mild tier to begin, though. She had some build-up potential, and her SB3 was pretty good. At least, she was on there because I remember her being there. So now let's go ahead and look at the other champion we know for certain, which is Cosmic with Medusa. Medusa had fallen down, I believe, to the hot tier. She may have been low, super hot. She's also now phenomenal. If you haven't checked out that video, I highly recommend you do. The thing they have in common is that they had workable kits. Like their kits, one in Purgatory, it had a few tweaks that needed to be made to make her really, really relevant, just make her flow a lot better. Medusa already had great flow. She was one of the best champions of the game for a very long time. And very regularly, we talked about like, well, or you could use Medusa, right? You know, robot, the auto block, the bleed, the armor break, the whole thing, the armor shatter. She's a very good champion. Cat Murdoch would show us that all the time whenever she could. Spring of Sorrow fights, Eternity of Pain, the whole thing. So both of them were kind of there. The outline was there, let's call it. Right. And I don't want to make it sound like it was easy to do the reworks. I'm sure it wasn't. I'm sure it was just like creating a whole new champion, all that. But there was already something to start with. And I think that makes sense. When you think about it, they're still putting out the 2 champions every month. They're still doing the Deathless champions. And then to just create 6 whole new champions, that is a significant amount of work. So where am I going with all of that? To me, when I look at it and I look at the mutant class, and I've already shown you Exhibit A and Exhibit B, which I think, honestly, do we even need to look anymore? But let's go ahead and do it for thoroughness' sake. And I look at the mutant, and you see Deadpool X-Force. I mean, he literally fits the bill. He's also one of the most popular characters in all of comic books and MCU and movies. The Deadpool movie just came out. It was phenomenal. It seems pretty clear they're not going to buff Red Deadpool, although I wish they would. Kabam, if you're watching it, you should do that. It'd be good. It'd be fun. We'd enjoy that. So what better way to latch into all of that, to take all of that goodwill, all of that hype, all of that excitement, but then to actually make Deadpool X-Force really, really good. They've tried doing that once before. It just didn't pan out that well. No one's really, very few people are using it. I'm sure someone is. And so the outline, the framework, the bones of a good kit are already there. And the designers and the balance designers are good enough and smart enough. I feel confident they're going to be able to tweak that and make it into a champion that's going to land in Scorching or Super Hot when we evaluate them. I feel positive it is Deadpool X-Force. I would literally bet on it. But if I had to pick 2 others, if you were like, it's not that, you have to pick someone else, I would actually go with Jubilee and Psylocke. And the reason is I think they're also showing that they're interested in doing champions that we want to see. People love those 2 champions. They are some of the favorite champions of content creators, popular voices throughout the MCoC community, like in Dragon and in Doc. I think it would make a lot of sense for it to be those 2 champions who also, as you can see, are literally right there. They have the outlines and the potential to be very, very good kits in today's updated game. So to me, that would make a lot of sense if I had to pick someone that's not Deadpool. But again, it's Deadpool. All right, now we'll move on to the tech class. And literally everything I just said about where the champion is located, about Sentinel was a very good champion in this game for a very long period of time. You got to go back a long ways. I was playing when that was the case. He could be modernized, he could be updated, again, not easily, but without having to start all over again. So to me, it just makes sense. I would bet strong on this if I could. And if I had to pick someone that was not, I'm going to do something similar here. Vulture and Darkhawk. A lot of people love Darkhawk. BMG loves Darkhawk. I believe Aiden loves Darkhawk. I believe Grass loves Darkhawk. So people who are well known, who are known for being helpful in our MCoC community, love these champions, and they're also like not bad. They really aren't. There's a reason why people do good things with them. And Vulture, hello, Kabam, Asaurus, Karate, Mike. Big Vulture fan. I believe Allison Edits is as well. So again, they're not just picking these champions for kicks and giggles. They actually kind of enjoy them as well. So again, the essence, the outline, the bones are there. Plus, people who are well known in the community for helping the community out, sharing knowledge, and bringing joy also happen to really like those champions. So they would make sense to me. But again, it's Sentinel. Either that or they really did a great job of fooling me with that artwork. Kudos to you, Kabam. All right, now we'll go and look at the two that I'm much less certain on, and we will move to skill. Now, I wrote down my prediction, and I have to say this one feels too obvious, and too obvious in that the community wants it, and that's Agent Venom. I mean, I want it too. Carnage is for some reason showing up as an unknown 7-star in the game. We've got Scream this month. Venom is amazing. There's a Venom movie. Like, it'd be a really cool way to tie into it. The reason, and I'll tell you why, Agent Venom's my front runner. I have it down as 33% chance though, is I haven't seen anything in any of the artwork. And also, Agent Venom with his synergies is ridiculous, like one of the most ridiculous overpowered champions in the game. And so I feel like he would require a complete, total, whole new kit, which isn't necessarily a reason not to do it. And Kabam's shown us they're willing to do full-on reworks like that. But again, we've established how much work in character and champion creation they're already doing this year. So I just feel like despite the community wanting that, right? I mean, so many of you even DM'd me saying, hey, this is what you think it's going to be. And I put this out on my Discord server, and a lot of people said Agent Venom, but I think that's because we want that to happen. Like, Campo loves Agent Venom. So many people do. Personally, I would love it, and it would make sense for me to be Moon Knight or Squirrel Girl. Slayer of Gods loves Moonlight. I love Moon. I'm literally wearing a shirt inspired by the TV show for Moon Knight. I loved it so much. So many of you bought it. Thank you for supporting me and my channel. I wear these shirts all the time. Phenomenal character. Great television show too. So not just the comics. Not the best in the game though. And so that's why I don't think it's going to be him. Is, you know, do we even have him on the list? No, I don't think we do. Because he's just not worthy. He takes up space. And let's have people see this, see the champions that are really worth ranking. The other one, to me, would make a lot of sense is Squirrel Girl. Her kit is really close. She was actually great for some fights, like the Do You Bleed Medusa. I think it's like Act 7. This goes back, well, maybe it was Act 6. And there's some little things with her, like they could do thematically, like they're doing now, like they did with Scream and Bullseye and things like that. Like, give her a slow, because she's in the comics, it takes down Doctor Doom. So give her the ability to do those sorts of things. I personally really like Squirrel Girl. I think she would make a lot of sense. If I had to pick someone, though, I guess it's Agent Venom. I feel bad. I feel badly. Because I know a lot of you want it to be Sentry. Right. I know a lot of you want it to be Sentry. And it's weird for me that I don't think Sentry is even on this list. I am recording this a little bit late at night. I thought Sentry was actually in the mild here by Invisible Woman. A lot of fans. Legacy is a massive fan. A lot of comic book fans, right? It looks like potentially maybe even an upcoming movie. I don't know. I'm not really sure on that one. So there's a lot there that would make a lot of sense. Void is a very powerful champion in this game, but we haven't seen any imagery. This feels very similar to the skill. We've seen no imagery. We've seen no signs of a leak or of a tease or anything like that. So if I had to bet, I'd go with Sentry, but it's not really my prediction. I'm going with like an 18% certainty on this one. To me, the ones that would make the most sense, like I hope this is what it is. He'd be the strongest already out of all of them, is actually Immortal Abomination. You can see Immortal Abomination is moving farther and farther down this tier list. There was a time he was one of the best science champions in the game. This wasn't that long ago. A few things have come to really hurt him, and one of that's that in PvP modes, people are completely specced into Inequity. He puts all those debuffs on himself, and unlike Mr. Sinister, where that was the case when he was built, and so they were aware of that and made him powerful enough to push through it and then be amazing in PvP, Abomination wasn't built that way. Battlegrounds didn't even exist. I would love to see him get that sort of inequity. I think, yeah, inequity protection similar to Patriot. I think it was Patriot that got it. That would probably be all that would need to be done. Maybe there's a little other part of modernization that I haven't really thought of in the science class. And so for me, I really hope that's the route Kabam took. And so that's my prediction, is actually that it's Immortal Abomination. I know so much of the community wants it to be Sentry, so I kind of wanted to tell you it was Sentry. I even put Sentry on the thumbnail. Misty K made it, did a great job with that. And so I hope for your sake, I really do, and I'm looking directly at the camera for this on purpose, I hope for your sake it is Sentry, because I know so many of you want it to be Sentry. I just don't think it's going to be. And if I was picking someone else, I hope it's Immortal Abomination, because he is great. He'd be phenomenal. And I think it would just be a few tweaks. The other champions I thought of that would make some sense is Spider-Man Miles Morales, incredibly popular character from comics and, of course, in the movies, right? And is very good in some ways in the game, but not used very much. I think could be modernized very, very well. And the other champion that made a lot of sense to me is Invisible Woman. Allison Addis keeps showing us like what Invisible Woman could do, just very, very punishing to play, and could, I think, get some more utility and things like that, and maybe some protection to her invisible mechanic and things like that. So that's it. Those are my predictions. So just to kind of go over them one last time, because I know I went on and on like I like to do. Definitely, obviously, Medusa and Purgatory. To me, I would put money on Sentinel and Deadpool, X-Force, like I said. In skill, I'll go with Agent Venom. I don't feel very certain about that. I would not bet on it at all. I think Moon Knight and Squirrel Girl are also my dark horses, but Agent Venom, who if I had to bet, I would. And then in science, I hope for your sake it's Sentry. I think it's going to be Immortal Abomination, Invisible Woman, and Miles also make a ton of sense. As usual, let me know what you think I got right. Let me know what you think I got wrong. And tell me in there, not only who do you want it to be, but also who do you think it's actually going to be. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.